There's something both terrifying and mesmerizing about the moment a fighter loses control of his own legs. One clean punch, one perfect connection, and suddenly the body betrays the mind. Knees buckle, arms flail, and a trained athlete becomes a puppet to gravity. In that surreal split second, power, pride, and poise all collapse into chaos. It's not just defeat, it's spectacle. And nowhere is that spectacle more unforgettable than in boxing's legendary chicken dance moments. Those split-second transformations that remind everyone watching that no matter how tough, every fighter is one punch away from surrender. It was April 2013 when Canelo Alvarez stepped into the ring against the undefeated Austin Trout. The crowd expected a chess match, a showcase of two young champions at the height of their craft. And for the first few rounds, that's exactly what they got. Trout kept his distance, flicking jabs, controlling the rhythm, trying to keep Canelo from finding that brutal close-range rhythm that defines his style. But Canelo, patient and surgical, stalked him down inch by inch. The tension built, the crowd sensed a storm coming, and in the 7th round, the storm hit. Canelo threw a right hand that didn't just land, it detonated. Trout's body twisted, his legs spun, and suddenly, the once poised boxer was spiraling like a dancer who'd lost all sense of balance. That one punch didn't just knock him down, it broke the illusion of control. Canelo had shifted the fight into a higher gear, and Trout was left spinning in the aftermath. But long before Canelo's dominance, there was another moment that defined what a real knockout spectacle could look like. It was 1986, and a 20-year-old named Mike Tyson had finally earned his shot at the heavyweight title. His opponent, Trevor Berbick, underestimated him from the start. Berbick smirked, taunted, and tried to bully the young challenger. He didn't realize that Tyson wasn't there to box politely, he was there to destroy. The first round was fast, violent, and all Tyson. In the second, Tyson's fists became wrecking balls. A right hand sent Berbick tumbling, his legs rebelling against him, trying to move in 10 directions at once. He got up, wobbling, trying to reset, but another Tyson sledgehammer dropped him again. When Berbick stood for the last time, he staggered sideways, then backward, collapsing in a dizzying dance that fans would never forget. Tyson didn't just win the title that night. He announced to the world that there was a new kind of fighter in town, one whose power could make even champions look like puppets in a storm. Years later, in a brutal clash between Simon Keane and Adam Braidwood, fans witnessed chaos of another kind. From the opening bell, both men treated the ring like a war zone, exchanging punches that sounded like thunderclaps. Each round felt like survival, not strategy. But then, Simon found his opening, a vicious combination that detonated with surgical accuracy. Braidwood's body lurched, his legs forgot how to function, and for a few seconds, it looked like he was stumbling through a nightmare. The crowd erupted, half in awe, half in disbelief, watching a man's body twist and sway under the invisible force of a perfect punch. When the fight ended, Simon had his hand raised, but it wasn't just victory that filled the air, it was the electric charge of witnessing raw, unfiltered power. In August 2024, the spectacle of combat took a different turn in South Korea, where a parody of The Ultimate Fighter turned unexpectedly real. Seiyuki Tatsuki and Park Ham stepped into the ring, but even before the bell, tempers boiled over. Tatsuki mocked his opponent, pushing boundaries, humiliating him during the face-off and weigh-ins. Park stayed quiet, letting the mockery hang in the air like bait. When the fight began, that silence ended. Park unleashed fury with surgical precision, turning every insult into fuel. Within moments, Tatsuki's bravado vanished as he stumbled backward, legs jerking, arms flailing, trying desperately to stay upright. The crowd roared as the arrogant showman turned into the evening's biggest lesson. Never underestimate humility backed by skill. Park's win wasn't just decisive, it was poetic justice. The late 2000s brought another unforgettable collision. Sharif Bogger versus Rangelo Armenta. From the opening seconds, both fighters traded combinations that echoed like gunfire. The air in the arena felt electric, every fan leaning forward, knowing that one of these punches was going to change everything. Then it happened. Sharif timed it perfectly, sending a clean shot to Armenta's jaw. The effect was instant. Armenta's legs betrayed him completely, his body moving one way, his balance another. For a few chaotic seconds, he looked like a man trying to walk on a ship caught in a storm. The referee stepped in, and the audience, torn between awe and shock, erupted. It was one of those knockouts that didn't just end a fight, it defined a fighter's legacy. And then, at the dawn of the new millennium, the Grand Garden Arena became the stage for one of the most talked about knockouts in history. Zab Judah and Kostya Tsayu entered the ring as equals. Two warriors at their peak, both fast, both explosive. The early rounds were all Zab, sharp and slick, moving with the confidence of a man who believed he couldn't be touched. But Kostya waited, patient and calculating. When his moment came, it was sudden and devastating. One right hand connected perfectly, and Judah's body rebelled. His knees gave out, his arms swung uncontrollably, and in those few seconds, he performed the most famous chicken dance boxing had ever seen. The crowd gasped as Judah tried to stand, only to collapse again, his legs refusing to obey. That punch didn't just end the fight, it became legend, a moment replayed endlessly as the symbol of what happens when unstoppable force meets unprepared flesh. In November 2009, the sport delivered another classic in the form of David Haye versus Nikolai Valuev, a real-life David and Goliath battle. Valuev, a towering giant who looked more like a myth than a man, was expected to crush Haye. But from the moment the bell rang, Haye turned the script upside down. He moved like lightning, darting in and out, landing precise combinations that frustrated the colossal Russian. With every punch, the crowd could sense the tide shifting. Then, Haye landed clean. Valuev's legs stiffened, his body staggered, and the massive fighter began to wobble like a collapsing mountain. It was surreal, a giant undone by a man half his size, whose speed and precision turned size into a disadvantage. When the fight ended, Haye raised his arms, victorious not just in the ring but in the story he had rewritten before the world's eyes. These are the moments that make boxing more than just a sport. They are reminders that control is an illusion, that one perfect strike can rewrite destiny in an instant. The chicken dance may look comedic, but it's a symbol of what every fighter risks when they step into the ring. The possibility that, for a few dizzying seconds, their body will become a helpless witness to its own defeat. Every knockout, every stumble, every wobbling step tells a story of courage and consequence. These fighters didn't just get hit, they became immortalized in motion, their vulnerability turned into legend. You've just witnessed some of the most unforgettable,